If we don't pay attention on how to preserve what we have, someday we're going to lose it.
The whole notion of wildland fire over the last, probably particularly the last 20 years, Byron and I were talking yesterday when we started. A 5,000 acre fire was a big deal, a huge deal. I remember the first one I saw in the late 60s on the Angeles National Forest, and it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And now then, sometimes 5,000 acre fires don't even get attention because there are 200,000 acre fires someplace else.
So what I'm here for is to understand what the people of Valley County believe are their wildland fire problems, how they can work better together across jurisdictional boundaries, what are their own assets that they can bring to the table, and how they can begin to protect themselves from bad fire in their communities while also learning about wildland fire and good fire in the wilderness.
Our fire prevention officers in the last 10 years have really grown to wanting to get out in the community and help with those community efforts and getting them aware of what they need to do or what they should be doing, or at least here are some programs or ideas that your community could use, and then we help them along with those.
So how many people have heard of learning laboratories? Come on, you can be proud of it if you have. Put your hand up.
I live in the Wooey area, so my forest had become extremely dense, and it was like I had a wall of trees, or actually a tree fortress, and I had a lot of growth that was undesirable, and I needed to do something about it. I started asking myself questions like, what would I do if I did have a fire? I live, is my house safe? Are my trees safe? And then I think the biggest game changer for me was a conversation I had with my sister. And she said, Connie, I know you love your trees, but if you don't do something, you're not going to have one tree left. And that was the big game changer for me.
So as we all know, there's three things that drive fire behavior. There's fuels, there's weather, and there's topography. And fuels is the only thing we can do anything about. So that's what we're going to concentrate on with this talk, and that's what we've been concentrating on all morning, really.
So why do we do prescribed burning? Well, there's many reasons why we do prescribed burning. One is it improves the resiliency of the forest, it improves wildlife habitat, it removes, or reduces, I should say, the accumulation of dead and down. It also helps us prune up the trees and the brush.
So we do sit on Eastside Drive. We're in a very highly resort area. This kind of gives you an idea of our property. So going in and doing a little selective thinning or something like that is a monumental project. It's almost impossible to do. Steffi was kind enough when we first met to bring me an aerial photo. And I said, look how our property looks so beautiful and green. And she says, yes, and that's bad. That we really were. We're a tinderbox, and I did shoot some video. I apologize, I'm not the greatest video photographer with a phone. But the first one will show, as you kind of watch, you'll see the undergrowth. This is some of it. It was as they were doing it. Some of the thinning, you'll notice it keeps getting a little denser if this is the first one. As you keep going, you notice how it starts getting thicker and thicker and thicker. The area you're looking at here, you couldn't walk through it at all. Not only could you not, deer couldn't. It literally was that overgrown.
I could have walked away from this profession 15 years ago. But about 7 or 8 years ago, I saw this. And the reason that I am still engaged after 50 fire seasons is because I believe in this. If we're going to solve the nation's fire problem, if we're going to get back to active forest management, if we're going to engage communities to be fire adapted to where it makes it your job easier on response, if we have a whole lot more of the public understanding what landscape resiliency means, you know, that's how we're going to do it.